So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in color, it's Mr. Wayne Love Juice.
The other day our producer Louis had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithms really aren't that happy if a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we decided we could texture whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book on the track extra. The postman has just been, and Graham is unwrapping the parcels and opening the letters.
What have we got here, Graham? It's a magazine. It is Flying Snake.
Oh, indeed, the Oklahoma bomb. Very interesting stuff here, some of which I'd heard of, and presently a large amount that I haven't. Very, very good stuff. I have no idea who the author is, and even if I did, I would respect their wish to be given complete anonymity. Now this is quite interesting. This is now an article from 1913 from the East African Geographical Review, Volume 3, Number 6, and it is on strange beasts in East Africa, unidentified strange beasts. This again includes the Nandi bear, but there's other things as well, and highly recommended. And then we have an article by our old friend Tibitka Cope on a giant South African mystery snake called the Groot Slam. All jolly good stuff. And then there's some more interesting press cuttings from 1841, 1875, 1877, 1888, and 1892 about flying snakes, which, considering the magazine is called Flying Snake, is a jolly good thing to have in there. Now, what we have is Fortean Ireland, a miscellany of the unusual, which is interesting. It's got, again, the strange flying creatures. This magazine is really living up to its name this time. And a man-bird beast from Vermont in 1911. Strange man-bird beast, which I had never heard of. A more flying snake and a flying turtle. This is from the Abilene Reporter News of Texas of August the 13th, 1952. This is something I'd never heard of. That's the wonderful thing about this magazine, is on the whole, there's at least half the stuff in this magazine. Each issue is something that I'd never heard of before. And then we have another article by an old friend of ours, Lois Moderman, and it's about gnomes in the Netherlands, which you can't really complain about. Any magazine that has an article about gnomes in the Netherlands has got to be good by me. It's the worst bit about getting old, that I have to go between glasses. Having glasses and not having glasses for bits of time. Now I have never heard of this either. This is about Derwent Water, which is one of the lakes in the Lake District in northern England. And there's an article here by another old friend of ours, Megan, about the floating island of Derwent Water. I've never heard of this. Oh, it comes up with fascinating stuff always that is completely and utterly obscure. And he recently wrote a really fascinating book on the Tatzelworm, which is currently available only in German, but it looks like we at CFZ Press are going to be publishing an English language edition of it. Now this is quite interesting, we have an article about a strange monitor lizard called the Gabali in Liberia by our old friend Carl Schuker. I seem to have used the epithet our old friend a lot in this issue, but everybody so far who has written for it, with the exception, possible exception, because I don't know who the person who hid behind a pseudonym actually is. He or she may well actually be an old friend of ours, but Carl Schuker is somebody I've known for 30 years, and I am very fond of, always have been. And he has done a very, very interesting article here. And then we have Glenn Vaudrey, who is, guess what, another old friend of ours, and the guy who runs Weird Weekend North, and it is about the monster of Loch Morar in Scotland. Loch Ness is lesser known but far more credible cousin. And it goes through, I wish my hands had worked properly. It goes through the history, the sightings, and even photographs allegedly showing it. And then we have notes and queries. It starts off with pine martins in Wiltshire. Then with 2 more flying snakes, a queer beast, which is in Seneca Falls in New York. I'll just read it to you. A skeleton to which local naturalists were unable to attach a name was discovered in an excavation at Seneca Falls, New York. The frame was 5 feet long from nose to tail, with 2 legs 15 inches long. The head was identical with that of a horse, with deeply sunken eye sockets and massive jaws. On each side of the upper and lower jaws, sharp tusks protruded, with a row of fine teeth between. And finally, we have some giant footprints found in a village called Potshrigley. What a lovely name. In Cheshire, England. That's the sort of name which makes one think of the wars that we fought to protect England and its Englishness, because you ain't got anywhere else in the world with a name like Wrigley. I love this magazine. It is fascinating to read. It's a labour of love by Richard, and we are eventually, although we've fallen a bit behind, we are republishing them all in book form, and eventually we'll be able to get this in book form. But in the meantime, I really would suggest that you should contact Richard Freeman. You can get Did I say Richard Freeman? I tell you what, I'm just getting old and doddery. Richard Muirhead. And inquire from him how to subscribe to this magazine, because it really is absolutely smashing, and I would seriously recommend that you go out and subscribe to it right away, because it really is worth it. And see if I can tell you how much it costs. I don't think I can. I don't think I can tell you exactly how much it costs. But here's something in the region really quick. $3.99. Pack issues are $3.99, and it's £12 for 3 issues. Thank you very much for sending me that, Richard. I'm very, very grateful. It's a wonderful magazine, and I can't tell you how much pleasure I get from them each issue. Now, I'm going to be back on Saturday. What am I doing on Saturday? Well, I believe, I'm not promising, but I believe that it's the second part of the CFZ Summit, which is what happened when me and Darren Naish and Richard Freeman sat down with tea and cake and discussed whatever came into mind, and I filmed the whole thing. I've tried to edit it to make some sort of sense. It's a fascinating conversation. I enjoyed it massively, and I hope that you will too. So, I'm going to be there on Saturday, because I'm always there Saturday afternoons, because I have all sorts of gubbins to do, like the what they call the notifications and the live chat and various other things, and then usually I fall asleep. In fact, I was so knackered after having had a bad night's sleep last weekend that I actually fell asleep in the middle of doing the live chat, which is something for which I feel massively embarrassed. But I will be there doing my gubbins and hopefully staying awake on a Saturday afternoon. And if you're there, and I'm talking to you, Mr. McCrennan, if you are all there, especially you, Mr. McCrennan, then no doubt I'll be seeing you.